Welcome. I'm Sebastian Mahfood, and you're listening to WCAT Radio, the on-air wing of En Route Books and Media, bringing you the dulcet sounds of Catholic wisdom.
Welcome to Living the Gospel of Life. I'm your show host, Leticia Velasquez, and I would like to start, as always, with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. This is from the end of the Gospel of Life, Evangelium Vitae, written by Pope St. John Paul II. O Mary, bright dawn of the new world, Mother of the living, to you do we entrust the cause of life. Look down, O Mother, upon the vast numbers of babies not allowed to be born, of the poor whose lives are made difficult, of men and women who are victims of brutal violence, the elderly and sick who are killed by indifference or misguided mercy. Grant that all who believe in your Son may proclaim the gospel of life with honesty and love to the people of our time. Obtain for them the grace to accept that gospel as a gift ever new, the joy of celebrating it with gratitude throughout their lives, and the courage to bear witness to it resolutely, in order to build together with all people of goodwill the civilization of truth and love, to the praise and glory of God, the Creator and Lover of life. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Well, yesterday was the March for Life in January 18th, 2019, and I was not able to go. But my guest today, Lisa Duda, was able to go, and she's gone for many years. So I'm going to introduce you to Mrs. Lisa Duda, mother of 10, grandmother of 12, head of Catholic homeschoolers, home educators of the Immaculate. Are you the president or the head of it, or what's your title?
I call myself a coordinator.
The coordinator. That means she does all the hard work. And never mind being the mother of 10 and the grandmother of 12, and most of her grandchildren live very close to her, so she's always babysitting and visiting and doing great work with them. And she was the first person I got to know when I moved to Connecticut 10 years ago. She's a leader in a lot of different ways in our community. And she's been involved in the March for Life. She's been going since
2001.
2001. So that would be 18 years on and off, depending on if she was pregnant and not feeling well. And so she's very excited.
I think I missed 3.
So that's what, like 15, maybe 16?
Probably, yeah, pretty much.
I can't even count because I had such big gaps. But that's fantastic. And you've been going since you were very young, too.
2001?
Yeah, you were very young then. You know, you're 12, right?
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
I have to think about that. I was probably in my 30s.
Yeah, well, we don't have to have that too much. So anyway, she brings many of her children, right? Have you ever had them all go with you? That's kind of a lot, rounding up 10 kids, right?
No, because by the time my younger ones were old enough, I only had the 10 for like a year, and then my first one started getting married, and then the next one started getting married, and now they're the first half are out of the house, married with children, and I only have the younger half home still. I have 3 in college, and I have my 2 youngest still homeschooling. So I'm only home.
And how old are they?
They're 12 and 14.
Okay, so you're almost in the youngest is the only one that's not in high school. Wow, that's amazing.
No, they're both in high school.
Oh, really? The 12-year-olds?
Yes, they're both in 9th grade.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that works out really well. So they went on the march with you, I think. I saw.
They did, and they were wonderful.
Pictures. And if people will let me, I'll post some of those pictures on the show.
Sure.
Page.
You have my Facebook.
Oh, she's got tons of pictures.
Feel free to take any.
There's one funny picture, and I say it's funny because here's Lisa, all at the March for Life, all enthusiastic, holding a sign that says life, and there's nobody else in the whole picture. I'm like, where's the other 500,000 people?
Do you know why?
Why?
Right after Mass, we were going from the Mass to the Basilica to the Metro.
Okay.
And the walk, you have to go through the college campus. Because the Basilica.
That's Catholic University.
Catholic University. So that's where that picture was taken. That was not at the March. The March, you were heading to Metro, all the way to Union Station, and then there's the crowd.
There you go.
Between the Basilica and the Metro.
How did you get a picture for all these kids?
Because they're like, oh, I need a clean spot over there. There's one. You know, there's people on the other side, but they're all walking.
Here's Lisa, 10 of her best friends, and it's so very funny. It struck me as funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because they were all in the March. I was way over by the Basilica.
Okay. So you managed to get a picture by yourself. You know how mothers are. If we could do anything by ourselves, or if you even go to the bathroom, it's a big plus, you know. That's why I wrote my book in very short segments, in case that was where it had to be read. It would be okay. No one will admit it, but I know some of you are reading it in the bathroom. That's okay. Okay, I understood that.
Private place.
The best reading material I ever found in a bathroom was a beautiful couple that I know, the Bentals, and they left a copy of the Humanity Tape in the bathroom. In the bathroom, because they said, got a captive audience. Maybe some of our friends will actually read it.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
And for those of you who've read it, it's only 67 pages, so theoretically one could read it during a couple of visits. But I just got a kick out of that. I'm like, they're desperate to get people to read that.
Yep.
To go to the leave of the bathroom. So anyway, so you've gone down for many years. You go down with is it the parish bus or like the diocese?
Father Tito's bus. We call it Father Tito's. St. Mary's. It's the Norwich buses. I guess the second bus. There was two this year from Norwich. There was the St. Mary's Parish, but there's Rhode Island people. I don't know how Rhode Island people there too. But the other bus was all UConn.
Nice.
The college kids from UConn and
the whole bus.
The whole bus was UConn and other
There's
like
a wonderful Newman Club, and there's also Students for Life at UConn. They helped us a lot with the Pregnancy Center, Pathways Pregnancy Center. They came 3 times and worked so hard. So, and I heard them talking about things that just blew your mind. There was one young lady who had a medal at St. Faustina, and she said she was reading the diary of St. Faustina while she was in college.
Oh.
No, well, she was one of those UConn. She might have been on the bus. Yeah. From Montvale. And then there was another young man who was having a discussion with his friend about the Council of Jerusalem. And when Constantine took over the Holy Roman Empire, I'm like, boy, these are some pretty serious Catholic students. These kids are awesome. Wow. And Father Tito, our pastor at St. Mary's Immaculate in Baltimore, Connecticut, is one of the confessors on Thursday nights.
Yes.
When they start with
I have 3 college children that go to the Newman Club.
So they go, I've been once, but I made it late. So they start with adoration and confession?
Well, actually, my kids, they're part of Crossroads for Christ.
But that's a prayer meeting before the prayer meeting.
Yes, it's pre-prayers.
And it's like,
first you pre-pray, then you pray.
You pray and worship and witness, and then you go to
Then they go out and hang out, and they have bonding time. Well, the Crossroads for Christ is that group, and they all go as a group to adoration.
Beautiful.
They have adoration, there's mass, and during adoration is singing, which is so nice, because have you ever heard of K-Love? Do you ever listen to the song? Sure. They sing songs like you hear on K-Love. It's beautiful
worship. Yeah.
Beautiful. During adoration, they have confession. It's like it really is.
How many people go to that? Do you think?
I don't go. My kids do, but I think there's a lot. And the UConn campus has a lot of people there.
So they filled the whole bus to the mark. That's amazing. You know, I've heard it said that if you're discouraged because your local Catholic college isn't truly Catholic, sometimes a public college with a good Newman Center
they don't know
can be even better because they do put up with some persecution in some of their classes, but they have a place to go and they have a spiritual home.
Oh, it's a big relief for my college kids.
Oh yeah, because it is hard to be the faithful Catholic in a
My
college.
son Matthew actually helped start the one in MCC, Manchester Community, because there was the essence of Newman Club, but then he goes, how come there isn't one here? Oh, well, there wasn't enough interest. So he goes, let's make one. He and his teacher, Professor Gentile, which is lovely, Gentile, nice name, matches his personality, wonderful. He and Matthew started the Newman Club at MCC.
I was trying to get started at Three Rivers Community College.
Yeah.
Because we had a number of
If you have enough interest, they should.
Well, it was at that time when my daughter Gabriella was there, she did her senior year of high school and freshman year of college there. Got a lot of good science classes, but unfortunately she had to take those liberal psychology. Even the English class was pushing the agenda.
It's everywhere.
The agenda of pro-abortion and the culture of death and homosexuality. And so she was persecuted in all those classes. But there were a lot of Catholic
there's good news, in being persecuted. And I decided, yes, there's good news in that. Because it teaches them resilience and it forces you to go and learn your faith better.
That's right.
You can't refute something you don't know. Right. So it's like, okay, they're attacking you on this. Well, I'm going to go home and research this.
Absolutely.
And then I'll have something to say next time.
That's how I learned about Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. I lived in the path of Jehovah's Witnesses. Every neighborhood I've ever been in, my house had a red star on it until I learned about their faith and learned that most Jehovah's Witnesses
then you can
work Catholic.
Yes.
So I say to them, how could you leave a church that has Jesus Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity on the altar? I mean, I don't care what you're being offered. It's not the Eucharist. There is no way. And they looked at me kind of puzzled because obviously if they had believed that, they wouldn't have left. But anyway, so we're talking about evangelizing on campus, and it's wonderful that UConn students filled up an entire bus. So obviously,
back to Marshall.
Well, I mean, you can go on in many directions.
I know.
And that's great because this is someone who lives her faith every day, not just being the mother who homeschools, and that's anyone who homeschools, and I do, knows what a commitment that is. And when I first heard about it, I was a teacher, and my husband and I were just off our honeymoon, and we were in a Catholic community with a lot of couples raising young children, and he told me he wanted me to homeschool, and I was like, oh, very funny. I knew what was involved as a teacher, and I was like, you want me to do that for free?
Yeah.
And then as I thought about my own experience in public school and how I was persecuted in 9th grade by a teacher who had us memorize parts of Mao Zedong's little red book, communist book, and had his picture up on the wall and told us what a wonderful man he was as he was murdering 28 million of his own citizens.
Really?
In the Cultural Revolution. And again, I had to go home and learn about Mao Zedong and learn about the Cultural Revolution. We didn't have the internet back then. I actually had to read books,
Books? What's that?
Yeah, right. And then in 10th grade, I had someone whose entire European history was picking on the Catholic Church. So we had the Jesuit in my parish who was a scholar, and he gave me books, and I did twice as much work as any other kid, because I had to learn. I had to learn about the Inquisition, and I had to learn about the Reformation. I had to learn about the Nazis and the Pope, and because there are people that say that the Catholic Church coordinated with the Nazis. Nothing could be further than the truth. That's an entire subject for another time.
A lot of people use that in arguments for your faith, like, well, what about the Inquisition? What about the Crusades? And like, they clearly don't know anything about those.
And that could be for another.
That's another talk. We're not getting off topic here.
But the point is, the reason the Catholic Church is picked on more than any other church is because the Catholic Church is the last bastion of truth. We stand up for the culture of life in a culture that is completely devoted to the culture of death. And that's why we're targeted. And that's also why we're very tempted, and why we've had so many priests recently in the past few decades fail. Because the enemy is not going to waste his time with someone who's already in his camp. He needs to get somebody, especially a priest, who influences many, many other souls. So we have to pray for our priests. Don't take the good ones like our dear Father Joseph Tito for granted. I always pray for him because I know the better he is, the more the enemy's going to come after him.
Yes.
We gave him a few years back.
We're very blessed in this diocese. Oh, we have some really holy priests.
I moved up to Connecticut with Father Tito, and I haven't regretted it.
Not just Father Tito. There's Father Jonathan. You have Father Nagel, and there's beautiful priests.
They are.
Holy priests.
It's wonderful.
And we just, I don't know, we can hit the jackpot here.
Well, we got
we really did.
So Father Tito goes down in the March every year, right?
He does.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Can I just explain something? My first March.
Sure.
Okay, I'm like a nervous wreck when I have unfamiliar things. Okay, my very first March, I took 4 of my older children. And I was nervous because my oldest, Mary Beth, at the time, I think she was 13 or 14. Yes, she was 13. The twins were 12. And Matthew, actually, no, I only had those 3. Okay, I had 3. Only 3. First time marching. First trip to DC by myself with my children. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
Okay, anxiety all over the place. So I was told, I'll be with Father Tito. Okay, I'm following Father Tito. And because I was having a panic attack, I grabbed Father Tito's arm. I'm like, don't leave me for a second. So he's like, he kind of smiles. He's so kind and he's so gentle, and like, you're kind of hurting me. You're like, oh my God, please. No, he didn't say that at all. He didn't say anything. He just gave me that look. And I'm like, okay, I'll be nice, but don't leave me. And then he goes through the turnstile. I had a panic attack. You're on the other side. Please wait for me. Wait till we're all through.
And you were in the subway.
We were in the subway. I did not want to lose my
live in a part of Connecticut that doesn't have subways. I don't think there is a part that has subways.
I had tourist written all over my forehead. But the funny thing is, that was in 2001 when I was scared to death and I didn't want him out of my sight because I was so, I don't know what the word is, just so anxiety filled.
You're overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Good one. Good word.
Sometimes people think they're going to go down there and get screamed at and things thrown at you.
That wasn't even my fear. My fear was getting.
That's what I was afraid.
My biggest fear was losing my children.
Of course.
That was my biggest fear. Like, I go on the subway, the metro doors open, I jump in, I forget my kids. You know, it's like we're split up.
You're pretty great, because when I went down in the 70s from Long Island, we never took the subway. We didn't do anything but the march. We didn't go to Mass and then travel across town. It was simple. You got off the bus, you followed your leader, you got on the bus.
Yeah, on the bus.
End of story. Your trip is a little
thing with the metro,
complicated.
but now it's so funny. I still prep like crazy. I download maps and it's like I don't want to get lost.
Lisa makes hats for all her kids that match. Okay, I've never heard of anyone making hats. Well, they do. A lot of people do, but I mean making it by hand. That's really
I crocheted some life hats.
Beautiful. They're red, white, and blue. You'll see.
They're cute. Yeah, you can.
So she's been preparing for 6 months for this event, right? How long did it take you to make this?
The hats took me 1 week.
Get out of here.
No
wonder you're horrible. Oh my God, I'm still thinking about it.
No, it's not about the hat. That's the easy part.
She's a prolific crocheter.
The hard part is like, okay, I need to find where Senator Blumenthal's office. I got to get the right numbers and write that down.
That's complicated. And if you've never lobbied before, this is like security, the first time. But they do. A good bus captain will give you all the information you need. You just have to juggle it and know how to do it.
But since like a few years ago, I started leading my own group.
I went from pick this up.
So, well, yeah, this is becoming routine, and Father Tito was great training wheels for me. Mm-hmm. You know, now I'm like, okay, I got this. I'll lead a group. Okay, we got this. You know, and
you always do the same thing. You always end up at that church at the end. What's a very busy church?
St. Peter. You mean at the Basilica at the beginning, or St. Peter at the end?
You take the bus from there home.
That's St. Peter's Church on the corner of C Street and 2nd Street.
It's right up, near the Capitol building. It's a couple of blocks from the Supreme Court in the Capitol, and it is packed with pro-life.
Yes, very packed. They're sitting. Yeah. If you're lucky to get a table, you're lucky.
Yeah. Most people sit on the floor.
On the floor.
It's got amazing energy, and they're very hospitable. They have all kinds of snacks out for us. And
the local parish there, they give you refreshments and all that stuff, and fruits. Yeah. Sorry.
The most important commodity for life.
Well, because the government shut down this.
There's no porta-johns?
Well, there were porta-johns. But last year, for some reason, the porta-johns were full. And I was afraid that wouldn't be a good option. Because usually we go to the Smithsonian on the way to the rally.
It was closed.
Yes. On the way to the rally, we make a pit stop because they have nice bathrooms.
Because the Smithsonian's along the mall, which is where
on the way to the rally.
Yep. The first rally is at the mall. Yeah. When my day, we used to have the rally on the Capitol steps, but the march float got way too big for that. And
the first one I went to in 2001, it was at the monument.
The Washington Monument.
The Washington Monument. That's where we met. And then they made it. Then one time it was at the ellipse or eclipse. Ellipse. You get it.
Every time I get Washington Straight, I don't come for a year, then I have to reorient myself.
We had it there one time. Now it's been at the mall for quite a few years. And our normal bathroom stop would be the Smithsonian. Well, they're closed yesterday.
I think everything.
So I was kind of panicking. So I'm going through all these maps and stuff like, okay, what's open in D.C.? But, we were okay. You just put everything in God's hands. Everything is fine. And they had clean porta-johns everywhere. Yay. And the Senate buildings have the nicest bathrooms.
Yes. Or tax dollars.
That's where your tax dollars.
Everything's made out of marble. It's just amazing.
And even though Blumenthal, Chris Murphy weren't there, they're surprised.
Wait, are very pro-abortion senators?
Let's be charitable.
Well, wait a minute. Weren't they getting on a plane to go overseas?
I don't know.
I've never seen a pro-abortion legislator in his office on the day of the March for Life.
I have to be.
They usually take the intern with a clipboard. They put him in the hallway, and they lock the door behind them.
No. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Their secretaries were very kind to us.
That's for them.
And they gave us minutes. They gave us, here, sign our Yukon wall, and okay. And so we signed in their little registry that they have. It's very simple. Mm-hmm. I used to be afraid, like, what do I do? And Senator, I don't know what to do. It's very easy. You go in there, you sign your name, your address. They're kind.
And why?
Yeah, and there's comments. So we just say we're here for the pro-life march and babies lives matter. Mm-hmm. One of the college kids was like, she read a book. All kinds of lovely things. I'll pray for you. Whatever. We even have the kids sign. My 12-year-old. He signed as
a constituent.
He signed in as a constituent. And 12 years old.
He's a constituent, but a future voter. Yeah.
Future voter. Correct. So I'm training them early, you know. And they
I had a funny incident at Senator Moynihan. He was a New York Democrat. He wasn't him, but his secretary's intern was out there with a clipboard. And this is, let's see, when was this? I don't know, I want to date myself, the early 2000s. And Hillary had there were rumors that she was going to run for Senate and then eventually for president. And they said, did you hear that Hillary Clinton's going to run for Danny Moynihan's seat? And the intern dropped the clipboard and said, holy cow, I'm moving to Canada. I'm like, wait a minute. She's a Democrat, and put her hand over her mouth.
Oh, boy.
It was the funniest thing. I was like, wait a minute, that's supposed to be one of your guys. But you never know what's going to happen. And
we were treated with
kindness. And as we treat them with kindness, there's kindness back. In the old days, we used to send roses to the senators. We paid money.
Margaret
loved when we came. Because there were roses everywhere. But,
that's really nice.
It was a nice gesture.
Should we do?
No, we don't do that anymore for whatever reason, but that was one of the old traditions. The rose is the image the symbol of the March for Life. Right. It always has been.
Right.
Now the new symbol is a rose, but it's a mother and child embrace.
I like that. That's nice.
And I know the new director, Jeannie Mancini. I did some work with her back in 2011. We had a prenatal diagnosis conference at the Family Research Council, and Jeannie was working there at the time. So really, and Kristen Hawkins, and we were able to do some really nice work with them. But anyway, so it's the emphasis now in the March for Life is to be very ecumenical, because it tends to be a Catholic march sometimes. But
no, not really.
They're trying to open up to different faiths. They've always had people of different faiths, but it's to de-emphasize Catholicism and give everybody a chance, like Dr. Alveda King did the closing prayer at the rally. Who was that
representative from Louisiana, that young girl? Do you remember what her name was?
Yeah, I know.
I love her speech. She said stuff like, I'm black, I'm a woman,
she's a state rep from Louisiana.
That's what it is. Yes, she's black, she's a woman, she's this, and she's a Democrat. She goes, and they say, why are you pro-life if you're black and you're a woman? And then she says, because I'm a Christian first.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Like,
that was beautiful.
So awesome. You know,
that was very encouraging.
And Ben Shapiro, that was a surprise for me. And then they introducing the vice president, like, what?
I was freaking out on my end watching on TV. It was just amazing.
Then when they started announcing, we have another surprise. I was expecting Trump to be there.
Oh, right.
Like, I was just going to die there.
I know. That would have been.
But it was a video.
It was a video.
But you know what? I'm happy.
I remember back in the day, Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. all gave us a phone call.
Yes, I remember that.
But not a video. Video was new. And I heard last year, I was not out on the mall. I was still in a meeting, a conference that we were doing for Down syndrome. But I heard from my physical therapist across it that there were two bald eagles circling the mall when Trump appeared on the Jumbotron.
Really?
Like she said, I've lived in Washington for years. I never even saw one, but to have two of them,
wow,
circling, it was like
amazing.
And bald eagles was perfect because he's not exactly a dove. You know, he's an eagle kind of guy.
Is that understandable?
And he's an eagle. He's got the personality of an eagle, not a dove.
And the trumpet sound.
Yeah, Trump, right?
Get it.
So it was just really awesome. But the energy of the crowd is just fantastic. You could sense I was watching live. But Ben Shapiro, what his main point is, you don't fit in and we're not supposed to.
That's right.
If he knew the term culture of death, I'm sure he would have used it. We are, either the Jewish faith, the faithful Jew. We are against the grain, and we always have been. And unfortunately, since the beginning, and we have to be, and that's our call, because we speak out for those who can't speak for themselves. We're speaking the truth. But ironically, the theme of this year's march was pro-life is pro-science.
Yes, that was a new twist.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important.
Well, not a new twist. I mean, we always knew this, but the fact that they had people from Princeton,
right,
and it's like, wow,
it takes a lot of guts
and
to be from an Ivy League school and be pro-life.
Yes.
Because they're so
the pressure.
And they equate being pro-life with being stupid and ignorant and medieval. And
so that debunks that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the most brilliant scientists in the world have discussed about the humanity of the unborn baby, including my big hero, Dr. Jérôme Lejeune, the French geneticist who discovered Down syndrome. He became a pro-life advocate in France in the 60s when they were legalizing abortion, and he faced opposition you wouldn't believe. People actually threw animal guts at him during a lecture in a French university. Just terrible, like a cow liver, boom. it was disgusting. And he was threatened. And he and his children, there was graffiti threatening him with death. His wife said every time I heard a siren, I was afraid it was him. So, I mean, compared to what we suffer when we go on the March for Life and what we put up with on our college campuses, that collusion was almost literally a martyr for life. But
well, it puts us to shame because we complain that the bus is kind of uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, there's oh my God, in your back. That's part of what I was worried about.
Yeah.
I just went through about with bronchitis, and I was afraid to be out in the cold that long.
Yeah. Well, you are standing in the mud. You have to have proper shoes.
Right.
Any weather. I mean, we've gone when there was a snowstorm.
Oh yeah.
And we got cold. 13 hours to get to the March for Life.
What's a normal trip from Connecticut?
Probably like 7.5.
Wow.
Maybe 8. It depends on the bus driver. Sometimes they have a lead foot. It's kind of scary. Just close your eyes.
Close your eyes and pray.
Just pray, right? But it wasn't really that bad this time for me because I mean I have a bad back and fits and everything, but I sat with my 12-year-old. Okay, my other kids sat with their friends and stuff. And I kind of like threw my legs up over on his lap, and he put his head down here, so I kind of like sprawled over it, and, we snuggled right in, and it was like, not bad. This is sacrifice, yes, but it's doable. And you know what? Even if it's a sacrifice, it's a labor of love.
And you offer it up for this.
You offer it up. I mean, look what Jesus did for us. Yeah. You think nails were comfortable up on that cross? No. I mean, so we can suffer a little for our Lord. I mean, he suffered a lot for us.
So there's suffering, there's joy, there's excitement.
Oh,
did they guess at how many people have come this year?
I don't know, but I did look on the internet one year it says 650,000.
I remember hearing that. 650,000.
And they said this year was the most ever. So I'm looking at, probably 700,000.
If you look at my Facebook page, you can see a time lapse of the March for Life.
It keeps going and going.
It just never ends. And there was a comment that really got me. In 2010, NARAL President Nancy Keenan accidentally ran into the March for Life.
How do you accidentally?
Right. 700,000 people are hard to miss.
The traffic alone. How do you even?
Well, it does freeze the city. So anyway, her comment was, "There's so many of them, and they're so young." She quit NARAL shortly after because she calls NARAL the postmenopausal woman. Because if you look at NARAL, they're nice. Well, I won't be nice, but they're determined little old ladies, basically.
It's getting bigger every year.
And younger.
Bigger and younger. And my son, Joshua,
I used to be the young kid in my teens there. Now, if you're in your 50s, you're grandma. And I love that I'm one of the older people in the march.
Can I tell you, yesterday, my son Joshua works in Washington, D.C. right now. Oh. Okay, he works in construction in Reagan National Airport right now. He's working there. He said the traffic was so bad. They let them home early. He had like a half a day because they just couldn't do their job because everybody's in the way. It's like, you know what? Just take the rest of the day off.
You can't really miss the March for Life.
Yeah,
even though I know this when I look up at the buildings, there's almost never anybody looking out.
There's people way at the tippity top of the hall building. There are people looking down. I don't know if they're camera people.
Sometimes they are. But I'm talking about just regular workers on Constitution Avenue.
Unless they're pro-life, right?
Yeah, but they don't even look. It's like, or people that just keep their heads down and they try not to make eye contact.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have not met one person opposing us when we're done.
Because it's kind of overwhelming.
I don't understand what, like, the media will show maybe one random or planted person just to say, oh, there was these 3 random people opposing the march.
No. I say there was a crowd, and they have a whole
crowd?
They have a little congregation in a camera spot, and it looked like a lot of people, and then for the March for Life, they'll show a random 6 kids, and they miss the other 650,000.
I know.
There's a lot of media tricks played, but thank heavens for social media and alternative media like Fox and like
thank God. Yes.
I know Tucker Carlson had Lila Rose on, and Laura Ingraham covered it. So, Shannon Bremen does a good job. So thank heavens for this alternative media that is willing to cover it. I remember one time, it was ironic, I was interviewed by Japanese TV about John Kerry.
Can you speak Japanese?
No, but I must have, when they played it, they must have dubbed it. They said, I would give a lot of money to see myself speak Japanese.
Wow.
Who knows this? French media, the Italian, Irish TV one time I saw. course, now they're probably hiding it because they're going through in Ireland what we went through in 1973.
Oh.
The first 5 abortions were in a Catholic hospital. I can't even get this to my head in Ireland last week. So it's really heartbreaking.
Wow.
That when abortion was legalized in America, the Irish added a pro-life part to their constitution, which they voted last spring to take away. And now they've, of course, legalized it, and they're trying to force doctors to do it. It's like, have you learned nothing from us? It's so sad. But unfortunately, America spread its mistakes around the globe, and a lot of Planned Parenthood people from America go to different countries, especially Catholic countries and African countries now, and try and force abortion on populations that are very devout, either Muslim or Catholic, and they don't
they don't want us to multiply.
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
For whatever reason, they just think that they're helping poor people. And there's some people who sincerely believe.
Do they really think that, though?
I don't know. That's what they say. Oh. I don't know. Some probably do.
Or maybe they didn't like when we said, well, if you can't beat them, out-populate them.
Believe me, the Pope,
they're like, oh, we can't have that. No.
The Pope was accused of that when he approved Humanae Vitae. He was accused of being Catholic. But instead, St. Paul was speaking the truth, because a lot of the things he predicted
true?
Yeah, was definitely going to come true, that women would be objectified, that governments would force birth control upon people like they have in China. And a lot of these things are coming true. And, of course, the decline of the family. As Father Tito so often says, the 4 pillars of society are starting to collapse.
There's one thing different I noticed in this March for Life, too. In the past, there were big, huge billboards of showing the abortions.
Yeah.
Okay, there was lots of them. And a lot of people in college these days are like, oh, those pro-lifers, they always show these gross pictures, and it's all propaganda. But you know what? I also saw back then, excuse me, people would show other things, other procedures, encounter of what we used to do. That was in the past. This March for Life, I didn't see any of that at all.
Interesting.
There was one person at the very top of Constitution Avenue. He had like a video, and it shows like a baby, like just the baby, nothing gross, nothing cut up, just a whole.
Oh, okay, fetus.
Yeah, a baby. Yeah. Do you know what fetus means?
Little one.
Yes.
In Latin, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it actually doesn't mean product of conception.
No, fetus does not mean blob of tissue. I learned that in anatomy and physiology back in 12th grade. Fetus means young one.
Yeah, but what's amazing is I worked in a pregnancy center with a lot of young women, obviously went to public high school, and I asked them, did you learn about the development of the baby? And they all said, no. Did you learn how to use birth control? Oh, of course. So, do you know about abortion? Oh, of course. But they deliberately are not taught who it is that they're aborting, what that baby is capable of, what stage of development. The heart is beating after 3 weeks. It's starting to beat. That fingernails and fingerprints are available at 8 weeks.
I held one of my I had 6 miscarriages. Okay, and one of them, I was 18 weeks pregnant.
18 weeks.
I was 18 weeks pregnant, and they tell you, oh, it's a blob of tissue at that time. When he came out, and by the way, I did say he, because it was boy. We called him Nathaniel Isaiah. And we held him, and I said, well, I just want a picture. I have that picture. I can send it to you if you want me to. I have a picture of him.
In your hand.
His head was here on the base of the palm of my hand, and his feet kind of dangled a little bit over my fingertips. And I thought, because they said the baby died with probably like 2 or 3 weeks.
So fully
baby,
15 weeks.
He was probably 15 weeks development. Now people
that's big.
15 to 16 weeks maybe. So I said, oh, I'm gonna freak out when he comes out. What do I do? I was so scared. I prayed, and then when he did come out, all I could think about was, oh wow. How beautiful. How beautiful. He's got fingers. He's got toes. Look at this. Oh, wow. I never saw in my hand.
Your own child.
My own child. At this stage of development, I always.
So you
knew.
You had nothing to feel guilty
in pictures.
This is a natural process.
That's a miscarriage. I don't know what happened.
So why a post-abortive woman is afraid to see those images is because they have guilt.
Maybe she had an abortion and she doesn't want to see that.
Those are the people, women especially, that are the most angry. that you will see.
It's sad.
There's
You gotta pray
suffering
for those people.
post-abortion trauma. Up to from a third to 40% of women have had at least one abortion, and now it's common that if you have one, to have another and another. I know a woman who had 12. All right, she was extremely traumatized, and we helped her through
12
years.
12 abortions,
and 4
wow.
live children. We helped her to have her 4th born child, but her 16th child at 30 years old, and she had a very traumatized life. I don't want to go into her details, but it traumatized her to the point she couldn't sleep at night. She was abusing alcohol. She was allowing herself to be abused.
So why did she keep going back for more?
She was abused initially as a child, and then didn't have a sense of,
I see.
I have to protect myself and I have to protect others. So we taught her. We taught her forgiveness. She went for her first confession, and she said that she came out of there crying. She was her burden had been lifted. She could sleep at night. And we helped her overcome addiction, and we helped her to have the baby, and we helped her to find shelter. So those who say that the Catholics are interested in the babies to live on nonsense, we stayed with that woman for years, and we had helped her with a previous child years before. So we have many women that come back that are still trying to find somebody in this world who cares. Somebody in this world who is happy that they're having a baby and says, I'll be there, because that woman's own mother with whom she was living was not happy. She eventually changed her mind, but she went through a lot of difficulties with this woman. So, we understand if you're listening to this and you've been through the trauma of abortion, Project Rachel is a wonderful healing after abortion through the Catholic Church. And you can do a Rachel's Vineyard retreat, the 2-day retreat, in which you're able to come to terms and ask God for forgiveness. You name your baby, and you give your baby back to God. And I was actually recommended to go to it. I've lost 3 children in miscarriage because it was very healing for me to go to a mass for miscarriage and aborted children.
Oh, yes.
Name my children, and then send them, and trust them to God, because they are with God. Yeah. So, wow. So we've had 6. And it's but if you saw the movie, the movie
I named them all.
The little boy who went to
Heaven for real. Yes, I love that. That was very comforting for me.
I cried like a baby.
My first miscarriage.
He met his sister that he never heard about because he was very young. He was only 4 or so.
Yes.
And she said, I died in your mom's tummy. When he told her mother, she broke down.
Not abortion.
No, it was
a miscarriage.
You don't tell a 4-year-old about a miscarriage.
No, well.
Depends on the 4-year-old.
It depends on mom, too.
Dad was a pastor, and they didn't tell him. And he said, she wouldn't stop hugging me. And
that movie is very comforting for me, because my first miscarriage, I don't know what happened. I was so concerned. What happens to babies after miscarriage, And my first one was Elise Marie. That's what we named her. And it was heartbreaking for me. More heartbreaking because it was the very first one. And I've had 6 total, and it's not that they get easier, okay? It's still heartbreaking, but now I know they're in a better place, and they look out for mom, and they pray for me, and I pray for them. So we have Elise Marie, we have Nathaniel Isaiah, baby Faith, baby Hope, baby Charity, and baby Mercy.
Oh, beautiful.
That is, because I don't know, because they were so...
You have the right to name them. You are their mother.
Yes, I'm still a mother of those babies. So I have 16. I have 10 on earth and 6 in heaven.
So a lot to look forward to. And Kimberly Hahn wrote in the book Rome Sweet Home that when you're in Mass and you're united with the entire church, the church militant on earth, the church suffering in purgatory, and the church triumphant in heaven, that your miscarried children are present with you in the way that all the saints are.
Praise God.
And, I sit them next to me on the pew spiritually, and they say, okay, now pray for your family. Come on. You got to carry your weight here. Just because you're up there in triumph, that doesn't mean that you don't have to pray for them. And my daughter had a dream once that she had 2 brothers and a sister that aren't on earth. And they're our ages.
Oh.
I was like, wow.
That's really nice.
I mean, she knows more or less.
So you have 2 boy names and 2
Yeah, I did. And she told me about their personalities. She liked it that the girl was spoiled. I'm like, how do we spoil the kid? I didn't even raise, Somehow I got in trouble for that. But anyway, it was as if it had always been. And I said, that's how the Lord sees it. He sees the whole picture. Time doesn't exist. He doesn't live in time. So they are part of our family. They always will be part of our family.
And we'll get to know them later.
And we will get to know them. We have a lot to look forward to.
We'll see them in heaven.
And a reason to behave ourselves. And also for the children that are aborted. They're in the mercy of God.
The aborted children, I think, even more so because they're the holy innocents.
That's right.
Because the holy innocents
they were baptized in blood.
Yes,
they were martyrs.
Against God's will and against, I don't know what you would call it, but there's a holy innocence. So they would probably go straight to heaven.
To our Lord's care, and
Yeah.
trust them to the mercy of God.
Absolutely.
And who we are concerned about is the mothers. And the mothers and fathers, because they bear the guilt of what they did and they suffer on earth.
They don't know. It's like
and society is teaching them to ignore it and stuff it down. That one girl I told you had 12 abortions, the abortion clinic laughed at her and they called her a frequent flyer. It's not funny, okay?
Was she forced into it?
No, but let me put it this way. She could not have had free use of her reason and her will.
Did she not know?
No, she was abusing drugs and alcohol, and she was self-abusive. And a lot of women punish themselves with abortion. And a lot of people will guilt you into it. Like a doctor, when you're expecting a baby with Down syndrome, oh, you can't do this to your other children. Raise them with a child with Down syndrome.
Do it to others.
Yeah, and they actually work guilt reverse on you. Kill your child because that makes you a good mother. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Down syndrome babies are so joyful.
They really are. And after then, what?
I have a girlfriend who has 2.
Oh, really?
She has 2 Down syndrome, and she's a wonderful mother.
Okay.
Oh,
Kim, yeah.
No.
Another one.
No, her name is Megan.
Oh, nice.
Megan is a wonderful, amazing woman. And both her children are young adults, and they're just happy children. Yeah. And she probably, would tell you right now, I would do it again, because they're beautiful children. You should.
So there's always a great emphasis on that life is for everyone, regardless of your disability, your ability, your life.
Don't have abortion just because they're a joyful child,
Yeah, or because it's a bad time for you, or things have a way of working out.
There
are
3,000
There's 3,000 pregnancy centers that will counsel you through that and give you some of the financial things that you need, the diapers, the clothing, help you find housing, help you get back to school,
like your
help you find daycare. Help you in like we did. Pathways Pregnancy Center in Norwich. We're about to open up, and we're going to help women put their lives back together and be there for them when things are rough. And we're not going to just stop the day the baby's born. We're going to help them through the early toddler years when times are rough.
Some people ask, well, what about Medicaid? Like, since when does Planned Parenthood corner the market on Medicaid? I don't understand it.
Well, we won't be getting Medicaid, but Planned Parenthood has this tricky way of getting Medicaid. They say abortion is only 3% of what they do.
That's what they say, but
However, when you come into Planned Parenthood, first they do a pregnancy test. That's a separate charge. Then they do an STD test. Separate charge.
Oh.
Then they do a pelvic exam. Separate charge. None of this is an abortion yet.
You do really get a pregnancy test at the dollar store, right?
Yeah, right.
So you don't need Planned Parenthood to tell you that.
$20 for a $10 test. And my center, I'll just do it for nothing. So, I mean, it's crazy. And then, of course, they don't offer you all the options. So we are going to try and defund Planned Parenthood because there are many thousands of medical clinics that will do exactly what Planned Parenthood does.
Yeah.
That you do not have to give them the money. They are a business. They make $1.4 billion of profit. They're not a non-for-profit. They're an abortion business.
It is.
And they do 1/3 of all the abortions in the United States, hundreds of thousands every year. So they should be defunded, and that's the one impatience I have with the Republicans. They have the majority, they have the presidency. Why the heck didn't they defund Planned Parenthood? There was a vote the other day that would have permanently prohibited tax dollars going to abortion, made it permanent. And several Republican senators were missing in action. And they had 48 votes, they needed 60. So 12 Republicans went AWOL on them. And they even had a few Democrats voting for life. Dan Lipinski of Illinois, he was up on the podium on the March for Life. He's a sincere Catholic who disagrees with the Republican Party on many issues, as Catholics can, but the life issue is non-negotiable. I don't agree with the Republican Party on everything. I'm a Catholic first. Yeah. All right? And I once said to, I had a beautiful pro-life representative of Long Island, Mike Forbes. He won 3 times, and then he ran as a Democrat from a Republican because Bill Clinton offered him $5 million to become a Democrat, and then they defeated him. It was a strategy, and he fell for it. But I told him, I said, you might be the first Democrat I ever vote for, because this guy used to have us in his office and get a spread for us. He would order food and coffee. It was like a party. I mean, most people shut the door in your face after you sign. This guy had a spread for us when we came to Washington. Sometimes he came down on the
Democrat, Republican. Yeah. I vote pro-life.
That's right.
Basically, I look at them. I don't care what anything is. I just want to know, are you pro-life?
That's right. What else matters? Once you're
there's
dead,
nothing else that matters. No.
That's what I like to do. Does anybody care that Hitler helped the German economy? No. Okay. What's the one thing he's remembered for? Killing millions and millions and millions of innocent people. I said, and we have killed 60 million Americans since Roe versus Wade in 1973. Does anything else count? The economy's nice, but does it really count? Because when we come before God, we are going to be asked, this great evil existed in your lifetime, as if we lived during the days of slavery. What did you do? Okay, and that's what the whole point of this show is. Everybody has to do something.
It's not that it's just a one-issue voter, too.
No.
It's the fact that if you're pro-life, then pretty much you have a good moral mindset, and that everything else
you have your priorities in order.
Yes, exactly. That means, like, if you're pro-life here, that means you're not going to go kill off the elderly, or it all kind of falls into play. And you'll want a good economy.
And you want to care for other people as much as we're able to. People saying, well, you don't care about babies after they're born. You don't care about immigrants.
True.
By the way, I married an immigrant. Okay, so there
you go.
I don't care about immigrants.
I have an immigrant daughter-in-law. I love her to pieces.
We love them. We love our immigrants, and
It's not about that. They came legally, by the way.
Right.
But that's another issue. We're not going to talk about
it. The thing is, a lot of people like to put all these things with pro-life. You have to go this, and this, or you're not pro-life. And they like to say that you can't be against abortion unless you're pro-gun control, or you can't be against abortion unless you want this particular Medicaid program. And the church gives us guidance, but the church doesn't tell us on every single issue how we have to vote. Mm-hmm. It saves its guidance for the top moral issues: marriage, family, sexuality, human life. These are the things that God gave us very specifically in the Garden of Eden, and He said it was good. These are gifts from God, and they're not to be downgraded. You don't take God's gift of life and end it at any stage for any reason earlier than God is. God decides between life and death, and we don't. And that's what people, all Americans, should be able to agree on, because it's in our Constitution. It's in our Bill of Rights.
I was told to have an abortion once.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No. A doctor?
Yes, because I was pregnant with an ectopic pregnancy. Do you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
And
it was a tubal. Yes. It was 6 weeks along. I didn't even know I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of pain.
Oh, that's really
and they said, it is life-threatening.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you could burst and you could die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, they said you should terminate the pregnancy. I said, that's abortion. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, you have to or you'll die.
Yeah.
I said, I can't do that. So you're going to have to find out some other way. They said, well, it's going to burst.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said, can I just go talk to my spiritual director first, please? So I went home and I cried and I prayed. I said, God, please do not let me, I don't want to end this pregnancy, but I need to be alive for my other children.
Of course.
This was in 2003. So I said, let it not be my hands that terminate this pregnancy, just yours.
Okay.
So I was waiting. While I was waiting, it was like a couple days of the pain increasing, that it did burst.
But didn't kill you?
Oh.
Almost.
I bled 2 liters of blood internally, and in the I'm going to spare you the details and the screaming, but okay, but for 45 minutes I waited in that ER and while they're doing their paperwork, and they didn't understand. And then my doctor finally said, what is she doing? Get her in the OR. She's bleeding to death. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So basically, if the blood goes up to your diaphragm, you can't breathe anymore and you die. That's what basically.
So it's filling the abdominal cavity.
I had 2 liters of blood in my abdominal cavity.
I don't want to scare women.
But no. The thing is,
you can.
The point is, okay,
don't scare people.
Okay, all right, no more scaring people. Let's get to the happy ending.
Right, because we know she's alive.
I'm alive. Okay. Yes, you can have an ectopic pregnancy. Well, I didn't know.
You can have the tube removed.
Yes, there's.
But that's not an abortion.
Okay.
An abortion is when you go in to kill
What happened is
you could take the tube out and the baby dies. The baby's going to die anyway in an ectopic. There's no way that baby's going to go full time.
I didn't learn that till after.
It's very technical.
And what happens while I'm waiting for my priest to go research this, it happened. So it blew out like a tire, and I lived. because God wanted me to live.
That's right.
So it's only God's will.
Women can do life-saving procedures during pregnancy.
You can survive.
Even an emergency C-section where the baby does not have a full, 100% chance of living, to save the life of the mother. That is Catholic teaching.
Okay, the save the life of the mother issue, that would be me.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And so you could have it. You didn't know, but you could have had your tube removed.
By their standards,
entirely.
With the baby would have been, by their standards, I would have been, quote, justified to have an abortion. And I said,
but that's not an abortion, Lisa. If you're not killing the baby.
Right.
If the baby dies as a result.
Bear with me for 1 second.
You're not killing the baby.
Right. I would have been qualified or whatever, justified. But I said no, because I didn't know any better about the procedure.
Right.
And then they got the answer, and they said you can cut above and below the baby, the tube, take the piece of the tube out, reconnect the tube.
Right. That's right.
Okay, and
you're not deliberately killing the child, but the child is going to die as a result of that.
Mother and child would die.
Right, right. So better to save the life of the mother.
Yes.
And that child would die anyway, but you don't want the child to take mom with him.
Pretty much, yes.
That's what God doesn't. God does not want women to die.
So that's a different scenario,
But no one's asking women to die. I mean,
no. And I don't understand why killing a baby wouldn't save a life of a mother. I really don't understand.
Well, sometimes that's a whole becomes life-threatening. That
became their talking point.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even make any sense. The thing with the rape, there were women at the march yesterday holding up. I had my child because I was raped or something, and they had the baby anyway, and they're very happy and they love their children.
Many beautiful children who have survived rape and got pregnant describe the abortion as a second rape. It's a second violation.
Oh, yeah.
And why should the baby suffer the death penalty when the father doesn't? The father.
Why punish the child because of the
And it does not heal the mother to abort. It hurts the mother.
No.
It might sound good at the time because you're so violated and you're so angry, you just want to get rid of the child. But most women that I've talked to that have been raped and had the child were grateful that they did. I never had anyone who regretted it.
Yeah.
In some of these situations, there's no easy way out. When you're in a crisis pregnancy, every way out looks terrible. But if you sit and you talk to a counselor that has some background in medical ethics and understands what's the thing to do, then a lot of times we can make sense out of it, and we're not making decisions out of emotions, and we're not asking anyone to die at the Catholic Church. Yeah. Even in the old days, when there were very few procedures we could do to help, they always believed save the life of the mother. And former Attorney General C.H.E.I said there was never a time when the mother had to die. In his experience as a physician and a surgeon, the former Surgeon General C.H.E.I said, I've never seen that a baby had to die to save the life of the mother, be aborted. So your baby wasn't aborted, your baby died naturally.
I said to the doctor, he says, well, you're going to die, you're going to have this, it's going to explode. I said, you know what? I trust in God, and you have the technology and skill to save me.
So if you could just get out of the emergency room, no pressure. If you could just get away from the bureaucrat on the emergency room door.
No pressure now, no pressure, but my life is in your hands at this point.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I believe you have the.
I had very high blood pressure.
I believe in God, so.
I had very high blood pressure that was life-threatening with my first child, 9.5 months pregnant, and I was sitting in the paperwork room of the. And my doctor was on the phone saying, "Where is she?" He should have sent me by ambulance. He should have gone by ambulance. You would have gone past all that. Anyway, my life is spared and your life is spared. But I had labor-induced.
It's all good. Happy
induced. Or a C-section can happen within 1 minute, and that happened to my last child. If the mother's, let's say, her blood pressure goes down or she's hemorrhaging.
Yes. Why don't they mention that?
And we are able to keep babies alive.
Why don't they say that? It's like save the life of the mother, kill the baby. No, you take the baby out a little early and put him in an incubator.
It's a talking point.
Yes.
On fact. That's why this year's march
it's illogical.
On science.
Seriously, think about it. They kill the baby like 37 weeks. Most of my babies were born before. And I went home the next day with a perfectly healthy big baby.
Even in the case, and I was talking to a man last night on Twitter who was very adamant that his wife had to have an abortion because the child would not live but a few minutes after birth, if the child was alive through birth, if the child survived. And he said she didn't want to see their child suffer. So she had an abortion. And the only difference is the child suffered, but she didn't see it.
Oh.
I didn't want to point that out to the man, but I did point out to him that in my book, A Special Mother is Born, we have 3 mothers whose children lived like a week or a few hours, and they described it as heart-wrenching and very sad, but also very beautiful.
Yeah.
Because the people in the family got to meet the child and baptize the child.
Get to say their goodbyes.
To the child.
Yeah.
And they don't have to live with the guilt at the end of their child's life. And that's what I told my doctor when I was almost 40, having my last child.
You baptize the child.
I said, if my child's going to live, he wanted me to have an amnio because I was older, and I said, no. I said, if my child, let's say, has encephaly with no brain, I said, this child will have 9 months of life within me, and that might be it. But I'm going to give that child 9 months. And he's like, okay. So this big notice slapped on the front of my file, do not give her a prenatal test. I had plenty of tests to make sure that the baby and I were healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
But not to test to see if the child met the criterion.
Yeah, I always refuse that too.
67 to 90%.
Write that down on my chart. I don't want that.
With Down syndrome are aborted. And it's not based on science because there's tremendous hope.
Have you ever had an amniocentesis test?
No. There's a risk of miscarriage with it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's most torturous pain. They don't tell you that part.
Huge needle goes into your...
it's like this tall and it's
a foot long. Scary.
I had to have an amniocentesis test when I was going into premature labor with my oldest daughter.
That's what amnio was designed for.
Yes.
To test the maturity of the lungs.
The lung development.
The baby is ready to be born. They originally used it to prenatal.
Now they use it to screen for Down syndrome. Right. So every time they ask me, I said, heck no. What do you think? I'm going to abort the baby if the test was... Why would I put myself through that torture?
Yeah.
It's torture. It's a horrible test. Don't ever take...
So anyway, we got a lot of information on the March for Life, and it's a wonderful experience. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's tiring.
But you know what? The sacrifice is so worth it all. Even if, we have to do this another 10 years. Hopefully not. Hopefully next March will be a victory march.
One of the speakers said that. He said, we're going to have a victory march. What a party. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You think pro-lifers don't know how to have a good time?
Oh, we Catholics know
how to have a party. We got hundreds of things.
Okay, can I admit something here?
Go ahead. Uh-oh. True confession. Don't kill anybody.
Okay, I bring a little bit of wine on the bus. Just a little bit to help me sleep on the bus, okay? I'm not a lush or anything, but I do. And one time I pulled up my wine, and my friend Holly goes, oh, we're on the Catholic bus. Yeah, we are. I'm just saying. Yeah, we Catholic.
That's right. And if it helps us sleep on the way down, so much the better. And there's going to be a lot of wine when abortion is outlawed and babies no longer die.
Oh, it'll be a big celebration.
Can receive the care and love that they deserve. Because a lot of women don't want to have abortion, but they're pressured into it. I would say over half of mothers that I saw were being pressured by employers, by boyfriends, by mothers, by their roommate, by their group of friends.
There were a couple of former abortionists at the rally.
Yeah. Saying
that they just couldn't do it anymore.
That's right.
They didn't realize until they got pregnant. Right.
And that's ironic because aren't they obstetricians that sort of studied it?
Yeah.
But don't realize Bernard Nathanson did 60,000 abortions. He founded NARAL, the National Association for Repeal of Abortion Laws. That's why it was called originally. He founded it. He lied with Betty Friedan. The two of them lied about 5,000 women dying from back alley abortions.
That's ridiculous.
Complete fabrication.
Yeah.
In his book, The Hand of God, he wasn't a Catholic yet. He was an atheist from Jewish background. Cardinal John O'Connor baptized him into the church. But anyway, he admitted to making that up. It was a total lie that many women died in back alley abortions. So that is total fabrication. But he did 60,000 abortions, including his own child. Oh, I think it was his girlfriend. He aborted his own child. Then one time, ultrasound had just been developed. This was in the 70s, okay? He held the ultrasound and he saw what he was doing, and he never did another. He couldn't do it anymore. So he had an excuse. He might have seen the baby coming out, but he did not see the baby fighting against abortion instruments, trying to get away. He didn't see that. And now the abortion doctors do see that. So the amount of...
I don't know what they teach in school.
Denial on a daily basis.
Because when I had a picture of my Nathaniel in the palm of my hand, someone looked at it and said, he had tears in his eyes. He looked, he said, that's not true. I said, what do you mean?
Looking at
What's not true? The part of my baby
are not science deniers.
No, listen. This is a self-proclaimed scientist.
You're a scientist?
And
Wow.
atheist as well.
Wow.
And he said, that's not true. That's not what they teach. That's a blob of tissue. And I said, does that look like a blob? It's not a blob of tissue. And I said, yes, that's the baby's hands. And I kept saying baby because that's what it is. And he goes, it's not true. And he had tears in his eyes. I don't know what he was thinking.
But it's an emotional denial.
Why?
Because for some reason they may have guilt, they may have participated in abortion, they may have pressured a woman to abortion, who knows? There's a lot of men out there who are suffering from post-abortion.
But the denial, so what are they teaching in school? You know, the professors are saying that this is really clearly not.
They're hiding the truth, and anybody, and Catholics have been involved, we developed the scientific method. So Catholics can go online and can educate themselves and learn the truth that from the third week the heartbeat is starting and the nervous system is forming. There is not one point from conception on that baby doesn't have its own DNA. And if you have your own DNA, you're not part of the mother's body. Yes, you live there for 9 months. And, in every animal family, the babies are dependent on the mother for a certain length of time, unless you're a sea turtle. But
I know, sea turtles. There's a fine to destroy eggs of a sea turtle.
And they're protected by society.
They're protected. That doesn't make any sense. It's illogical.
No, so what the Marshall this year tried to do is highlight the fact that people that are denying that that's a baby, that are saying that's their tissue, are staring into the truth and they're denying it, probably because it's uncomfortable. We call that cognitive dissonance in the psychology business, and that what I want to believe and what is the truth are two different things. Mm-hmm. So usually what happens after cognitive dissonance is you change your beliefs. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're hoping happened to many people, both online and in person in March for Life, that looking at the truth of human embryology and the development of the child, that they realize this is a human being and this human being has rights. But the sad thing is Dr. Alan Keyes spoke at a pro-life conference in Meriden one year in Connecticut, and he said, you know what, you're going to run into people who say, so what? It's a baby. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's another day. We'll have to conquer that another day because we're coming to the end of our time. So thank you, Lisa Duda, for spending time with us. We learned an awful lot about the March for Life and what it's like to be the mother of 10. And 16, actually 16 heaven and 10 on earth. Yep. And I'm the mother of 6, as I love to say. It makes me feel happy to remember my 3. That's right. Because part of my heart will always be with them wherever they are until we meet. And this is, heaven is our home. This is just a pilgrimage that we're on. But we need to live it fully, and we need to live it in the gospel of life. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next week on Living the Gospel of Life.
We hope you enjoyed the program and will join us back for another show on WCAT Radio. This is Sebastian Mahfood. Good day.